morning. It's such a pleasure to be here in this beautiful building with its mission, and to be here with Mike Bloomberg, who has been such an inspiring leader in this space, and who promises so much more leadership at a time when it's so urgently needed. At Vanity Fair, we traffic in words and images, and telling the right stories about climate change is, we hope, part of the way to amplify all of the messages that we'll be talking about in this room. And I wanted to draw attention to something that we published in our holiday issue, our current issue, because it's part of the reason that I'm here today. We revived a photographic feature that has run in Vanity Fair for years called the Vanity Fair Hall of Fame. And it's a series of portraits of newsmakers from throughout the year. It gives us a moment at the end of the calendar year to reflect, and in such a busy news cycle, on some of the people who we think made a difference over the past 12 months. And one of the most moving and poignant photographs that we ran this year was of Stephen Hawking. He died in March, but our photographer, Annie Leibovitz, had shot him in January of 2017. And the reason that we ran his portrait this year, he was, of course, an incredibly accomplished scientist and a great messenger of science to a general audience. But the reason that we ran it is that at the end of his life, he chose to emphasize this message. He said it was incumbent on us as humans to find other places in the universe to live, to explore space and colonize other planets. And the reason was not simply to feed our ambition or our imagination. The reason, he said, is that we had made such a wreck of our own. And these are harsh and difficult words to comprehend, especially from a man who overcame so many obstacles in his own life and who was such an optimist. But they really stuck with me, and I think they've stuck with all of the people who've heard that message. And so we're here today to channel not only Stephen Hawking's message, but his optimism, and to find ways to reverse the tide of climate change, and to learn to live better on this planet that we all love. So thanks again to Mike. Thank you to all of you for being here and participating, and for all of the work that you do in this field. And I think we're now ready to get started.
We're supposed to have a Q&A.
We're having a little Q&A.
You want my answer?
I will ask the question first. So
it has nothing to do with your question. I just want to point that out.
We're taking a little cue from the back page of Vanity Fair. We do a little Q&A there called the Proust Questionnaire. It's been in the back of the magazine for ages. And we ask a luminary person, this person to my right in this case, to answer very briefly a question. And so we have a few Proust Questionnaire questions about climate change. So here's my first question for you. What is your state of mind when it comes to climate change?
Well, I'm optimistic. We really are making progress. We have a long ways to go, but we have reduced greenhouse gases in America. You've done the same thing here. What we've got to do is to get everybody to participate, because you can all do some things. You can lobby to close a big coal-fired power plant, or you can turn off your air conditioner before you go to work in the morning. Both of those things would make a difference, and they're just good examples. But now it's my turn to ask a question. Do you allow that in Vanity Fair?
Yes.
Readers to ask back?
Yes.
What is your idea of perfect happiness?
How long do we have? How long are we here?
You said brief.
It's a busy day. It's brief, I know. With regard to climate change,
yeah.
This is maybe sounds a little pragmatic, but my idea of perfect happiness is consensus. Because I think we spend too much time fighting against denials that this is happening. We spend too much time defending science that should be commonly accepted. And we need consensus on the fact that this is not a long-term project, it's an urgent project.
Certainly is.
My turn.
Okay.
What is your motto with regard to climate change?
If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. You have to know what the problem is before you can address it. And if you do that, then you can focus your resources. And that's why we started America's Pledge, which was when Trump decided to pull out of the Paris Accord. We got together with companies and individuals and states and city governments and said, we're going to replace the federal government. We'll do what the agreement was, and we'll come up with the funds that the agreement called on America to pay in. And we've been performing better than the federal government would have if they'd stayed in. Now my turn?
Your turn.
Okay. To fight climate change, what talent would you like to have the most?
Well, barring superpowers, I would like to have the talent of persuasion. And I think that for those of us who have a platform, it's incumbent on us to use it.
Vanity Fair has a lot of influence. Can you make a difference?
I hope so. We're here to find out.
Okay, now it's time to move on to today's first topic, enterprise. And to introduce it, please welcome our next spoken word artist.